Need another sport to watch now that football's over? Have no fear, your old pal Evan is here to help out. Here's why each NFL playoff city should watch basketball. In this video, what I'm going to do is take the city of each team that made the playoffs and match them up with their local NBA team to see what they got going on. But of course, not every NFL playoff city has an NBA team, so I had to take a couple liberties. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and start with the champs, Philadelphia, because you need to be humbled. Also, there's Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid whenever he feels like showing up. But mainly, yeah, you got to bring that ego down a peg, my guy. Kansas City. Okay, this is the first of a couple liberties I took because KC doesn't have a basketball team, but OKC does, and OKC is the best team in the West, a legitimate finals contender, and they have an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This might not be the most sound thing to go for, but you know what? It's the best I could do. Now for my DC people, because we might have another Rookie of the Year on our hands. Jaden Daniels locked up that award, as he should. Dylan Cruz looks like he's on a good path to do so this year. And so, my friends, is Alex Sarr, the second overall pick from this past year's draft. That sounds familiar, don't it? Buffalo, because the Raptors have at least been watchable lately. Now look, I understand that Buffalo and Toronto are two different cities, but I also feel like they're close enough together where it would make sense that a Buffalo sports fan, especially seeing as how Buffalo doesn't have an NBA team of their own, to root for the Raptors. Plus, if it means anything, I'd rather see the Raptors in the play-in tournament as opposed to the Bulls. Detroit, because the Pistons might just be the easiest team to root for. And before y'all start in the comments, yes, the Pistons look like they're on their path to the play-in tournament, but after the worst season ever, the play-in tournament, the 7-8 seed, is a tremendous leap, and the Pistons are honestly one of the best stories in the NBA. LA, because the Lakers now have LeBron and Luka. And while, yes, at the time of this video, Luka has not made his debut yet, it's right around the corner. And with LeBron and Luka on the court together, whoo, buddy, those two are going to be dangerous. Matter of fact, LA, you get a second reason, because the Clippers might just have the best arena in the NBA. And also, they're on track to at least not be in the play-in tournament. No idea what that means for the playoffs, but I will admit one thing. I was very wrong about the Clippers this year. I did not think they were going to be good. Houston, because the Rockets are having the season you deserve. Now, look, I know H-Town isn't exactly starving for a championship as a sports city because, you know, the Astros, who we'll talk about later, but the Rockets being a top 3 seed is at least a breath of fresh air. Baltimore, because the Wizards just drafted a kid from Baltimore. I bet you wasn't expecting the Wizards to pop back up in this video, did you? Well, guess what? They're right down the road from Baltimore, and like I just said, they drafted a local kid. Say hello to the pride of St. Francis Academy, Bub Carrington, who just dropped 23 points the other night. Tampa Bay, because the Magic just might be the best defensive team in the NBA. Okay, don't ask me what their offensive numbers look like, but have you ever heard the saying, championships are won with defense? Well, the Magic at least have the type of defense that can pull it off. Minnesota, because you have Anthony Edwards. Now, the Timberwolves look like the type of team that could sneak their way into the Western Conference Final, or they could just as easily crash and burn in the play-in, but one thing's for certain. Either way, Ant's going to go out there and put on a show. Green Bay, because have you ever noticed how quiet it gets when the Bucks start winning? Yeah, you guys have one of the rarest luxuries in all of sports. You get to win in peace. And notice how nobody said a word about the Bucks or Giannis ever since y'all started kind of turning the season around. Actually, no, fully turning the season around. Y'all got all the way up to the 4 seed. Pittsburgh, because remember Bub Carrington? He's a Pitt Panther. He's also one of 2 Pitt Panthers on the Wizards roster, the other being Justin Champagnie. Yeah, that's a shameless third Wizards appearance in this video, but you know what, Pittsburgh? I could have sent you to the other team in your state, and between the two, I think the Wizards are in a better situation, so there you go. And finally, Denver, because this is the best sports year in the Mile High, or at least it's looking like that, in a very long time. The Broncos finally made it back to the playoffs, and the Nuggets look like they're ready to ride that Mile High momentum into at least the second round of the playoffs. But as of right now, they might play LeBron and Luka in the first round, so we'll see what happens. And if you guys liked the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be right back tomorrow telling you guys about another sport. But until then, I'm the voice of Evan, and always keep the vibes high.